I've always had some kind of random side hustle. I mean, in college, when I moved here to do my last year of college, I was able to become an Avon lady, and I sold Avon to all my mom's friends. Every friend she had, I was their Avon rep, whether they liked it or not. So I've always had some kind of little hustle going on, even as a teenager. But I stumbled into photography shortly after starting that very first job. My dad had always loved taking pictures of us as kids, so photography was something that I loved to do, and I had purchased a semi-pro DSLR camera, and I had gone to a friend's wedding, and between a photographer coming late and other issues, she just didn't have anyone to take pictures at the beginning of her wedding, and she saw me with my camera, so she said, will you take some pictures? And I took the pictures, and I got back and found some free software online called GIMP. I don't know if they still exist, to edit the photos. I couldn't afford Adobe Photoshop back then, and or Lightroom, and she loved them. And so I was like, maybe I can find a way to make some money out of this. So I put an ad on Craigslist at the time when it was still an actual place that you could buy and find things. And a couple hired me. I put an ad for a free wedding. And I was like, I have nothing to lose. If they don't like the pictures at the end of the day, it was free, right? They know they're taking a chance on this inexperienced photographer. So I went, I did the wedding, and they loved it so much that they gave me a $300
Nice.
gift or tip. So I was like, okay, I can take pictures. So I started to learn. I started to books, practicing with my family, workshops, online workshops from photographer communities, photographer meetup groups from meetup.com. And I built this portfolio, and I started running this side hustle that I was doing, editing photos at night, filming or sorry shooting on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and I got to a point where I was charging on average about $5,000 a wedding,
Wow.
and I was making more than I was making on my full time job with my side hustle. But I was exhausted, but it definitely helped me push my savings.
So why do you think you made those choices? I mean, because if we fast forward, I think it was 2015 when you start Clever Girl Finance. Um,
Yeah, about 2015, 2016, yeah.
okay, so and it's sort of focused on financial education for women and people of color, as I understand the site, and I've spent a fair amount of time on it. Um, yeah, but one of the questions, and I've wrestled with this for the 15 years I've been writing about finance, is that why does some people like you think, you take this opportunity that sort of fell into your lap to take some photos at a wedding, and then you go to the step of offering to do it free on Craigslist, and then it becomes a business, and you do all of these things that allow you, to achieve a lot of success. And some people, they just don't do that. They could, I suppose, but I- how do you, what motivated you, I guess, is ultimately the question.
I think motivation is one thing. I think role models are another thing. I
Hmm.
think economic dynamic is another thing. Like for me, side hustles were organic because my mom always had side hustles. After school, after her full time job, we would go visit her little bakery, her Coca-Cola franchise, her hair salon. And in Nigeria, everybody had a side hustle because of economic stability. There was a lot of just, you could lose your job today, you could lose, everybody had to have multiple streams of income. Everybody's mom and dad had more than one business, even though they worked full time, just to have that income continue to come into the household. Because growing up, debt was not really something that anybody could leverage if you didn't have collateral. And a lot of people are leveraging debt because they don't have collateral, right? So you had to have cash. There was no loan, there was no credit card, there was no, I didn't grow up with any of those things. And even today, like the credit system here is very different from the credit system in Africa, right? Debt exists, but not to the degree that it exists here. You have to be able to show a backing to pay it off. So I had the opportunity to make more money, and that's what I was gonna do, right? It's my immigrant mentality. It's my, just again, knowing where I come from, knowing the opportunity that I have that some of my cousins don't have, knowing that this could make a big difference for me. That was my motivator, right? I know some people, depending on their background, they've been told they can never be successful, and they feel like, why should I bother? Some people have tried to do things and have struggled with being successful at it because of a lack of knowledge, a lack of support, a lack of resource, and they just feel like, what's the point to keep going on if I've never been able to make this work? And
Mm.
so, I guess there are different reasons why people don't do certain things. And sometimes it's just as simple as they take the opportunity they have for granted, right? There is also that category of people. But for me, knowing where I come from, knowing what my background looks like I'm not going to see an opportunity and not take it. I just,
Yeah.
I'm not going to.